Welcome to Etrata, the silencer. Playing against Ulamog, so let's see if we can't silence Ulamog. That'll be, man, that'd be a lot of fun. As far as opening hand goes, I love it. We're going to go and keep on this one. I'd love to have some sort of, artifacts ramp, but we've got Liliana Vest and Tezzeret in the hand and Damnable Pack, so I'll definitely keep on that. Beggars cannot be choosers, so let's go and lead off with a Dismal Backwater. That way we'll get the life gain. And for a long time, I used to always call it Brackwater. Now, I don't know why, but every time I see it, it's like a mental struggle not to call it Brackwater. But if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, or if you watched some of my videos, you may have noticed that I don't know why. It's pronouncing magic cards is just it's like the death of me sometimes. Anyway, welcome to the game. Let's start off with Etrata. So we are playing Etrata, the silencer. She cannot be blocked whenever she deals combat damage to a player. Then exile target creature that player controls. Then put a hit counter on that card. That player loses the game if they own 3 or more cards exiled with hit counters on it. Then a shuffle Etrata into our library. And we have a couple different ways to kind of get around that shuffle effect, and I'll talk about that here in a second. It's going to get down Flooded Strand, and then that's going to put us at 2 more lands that come into play untapped. So we'll see if we want to get that Bajuka Bog down, and then we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. We're playing against Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. Whenever you cast a spell, exile 2 target permanents, indestructible. Whenever Ulamog attacks, defending player exiles the top 20 cards of their library. And then, yeah, that's it. I always like to talk about this because I don't really enjoy Eldrazi that much. I don't like the old school Eldrazi. The Ulamogs and the Kozileks, I actually really enjoy those sort of those Eldrazi creatures. I think they're pretty cool. I think they're well designed. The thing about the old Eldrazi's, I hate the Annihilator ability. I don't know. Flavor-wise, I get why it exists, but it's just one of my least favorite, we're all allowed to have least favorite things in Magic. Let's go and grab Fitted Pools, have that come into play tapped. But yeah, the Annihilator trigger is basically what kills it for me. So these new Eldrazi, I really enjoy them. They're kind of fun. And, if you're casting something for 10 mana, you should be able to do something that's like worth 10 mana. That's exile some permanents and exile the top part of the library. So that's what we're doing. I guess since technically we don't really have anything to get down, let's go and get Watergrave into play tapped, and then we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. So opponent and I are getting off to not that crazy of a start. They do at least have Mana Vault on their side of the battlefield, which will definitely allow them to get Ulamog going pretty quick. Thankfully, we do have a couple different counter spells in here. We just have like Delay and then Remand. That's going to allow us to at least go for some tempo plays on Ulamog, since especially we can still counter that, at least keep it off the battlefield. Now, they do get the cast trigger whenever they cast Ulamog, exiling 2 permanents. So hopefully we can get some sort of action on our side of the battlefield, maybe some sort of protection for Etrata, and then we can go from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we are looking at 6 mana, getting pretty close to Ulamog. And they draw 2 Jace, Architect of Thought. I'm really tempted to get down Jace instead of going for Etrata. There's no creatures on the board. We're not really looking at that good of a clock. Let's go and get down Scalding Tarn. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get down Scalding Tarn. Let's go and grab Underground Sea, and let's go for Jace. We're going to be able to curve out into Tezzeret, and then hopefully with Liliana we can search up as some sort of tutor. Let's go and grab Underground Sea. Let's go for Jace. Let's go and go for the +1 ability. Actually, we're going to go for the -2. Yeah, let's go for the -2. We want to get some pretty good card advantage going to stop Ulamog. Okay, let's go and choose pile 1. We could take pile 2, but I really like getting a land and getting Vapor Snag, so we'll grab that, and then we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. Depending on which video you clicked on first, I try to explain it in all of my new deck tech videos, or new Commander videos, is kind of what we're going on with the video. So if this is the second or third one you've seen, I do apologize if this commentary is repeated, but I don't know who clicks on what video first. So if you all could get together and tell me which one you're all going to watch first, that would be perfect. But Joel, we don't know which one you're recording. Oh, no, that's the paradox. Anyway, dumb. So we have, basically we have a real heavy Planeswalker theme in here, because one of the main things about Etrata that's really fun is that it kind of rewards your opponent for not keeping creatures on the battlefield, because if they get creatures out there and Etrata can see the creatures from their perch, she's going to swoop down and pick them up. So, if they don't play a lot of creatures, then that kind of takes away our game plan. So one of the ways to lure the creatures onto the battlefield is to have Planeswalkers, because we can slowly work towards that ultimate and get some pretty good stuff going. Let's go and go for the -2 ability off of Jace, just to see what's in the top part of our library. That way we can see if we want to end up going for Tezzeret or for Liliana. Alright, so we do run into Supreme Will. And that's definitely going to be the counter spell that we want to run into. we'll see how they kind of split this pile up, but either way, Supreme Will, whatever it's kind of, even if they go double Jace and Tameo, I'd be really tempted to go for Supreme Will. Actually, now that I think about it, if we grab Tameo, if we get down Tameo, that does give them the exile clause off of Ulamog. That we can kind of keep it in check. It's not going to have haste. Yeah, now that I think about it, let's go and go for pile 1. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go for Tameo. Let's go put those on the bottom. I'd love to get Jace and Supreme Will, but Tameo's going to give us an answer for Ulamog, simply saying tap down the entire time. Let's go and get down Island. Let's go and go for Liliana Vess. That way we can search up a tutor card. Excuse me, search up a counter spell. That way it's going to give us a little bit more protection from Ulamog, maybe trying to keep it off the battlefield. Okay, let's go and go for the -2 ability. And actually, if we want to, we could actually get in this position to where we go for the Chain Veil. You know what, let's go for Disallow. That's going to be a wonderful counterspell to go for. All right, so we're going to put Disallow on top of our library. That's going to give us a counterspell, and at the same time, that's going to allow us to counter target triggered ability. So hopefully what we can do is that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they'll have just enough to cast Ulamog if they want to go for that. Let's say they do a little bit more setting up this turn, and they finally do get down to Ulamog. We'll still have Disallow to kind of keep that tap down, or we can simply go for Tameo and tap down Ulamog. Now, they will be able to kind of grab 2 permanents that probably will be Liliana and then something else, one of our lands, but as you can tell, we've got 3 more lands in the hand, so we're in a pretty good position, hopefully, to kind of keep Ulamog in check, which would definitely be a lot of fun. Okay, so we will see Ulamog coming down, cast a spell, exile 2 permanents. Like I said, we're going to be able to dodge this pretty easily, so it's more than likely it'll be a Liliana Vess and then another land, but if our opponent wants to be kind of see what we picked up. I guess they could exile 2 lands to get rid of, and actually, yeah, that's going to keep us off the mana too, so at least be able to swing in for another 10. Okay, so we do have Ulamog entering the battlefield as a 10/10. And if we wanted to, we could actually Vapor Snag Ulamog. That'll give him another cast trigger, which will allow us to go for Disallow. Alright, so we draw into Disallow. Let's go and go for Liliana Vess. Target player discards a card. Okay, to get rid of Ghost Town, let's go and get down Catacombs. Yeah, and let's go and pass the turn, because basically what we can do is we can go for Vapor Snag, and then once they do cast, let's say they do recast Ulamog, we can go for Vapor Snag, bounce it back to the hand, they recast it. That's going to give us Disallow. That also going to allow us to go for Tameo to get the tap down on Ulamog. That way we can kind of build up that 5 mana. Okay, they do not pay for the 4 mana off of Mana Vault to untap it. And actually, if you want to, since we do have a tap land, we can let them swing in for at least 10 off of Ulamog, and that's going to exile 20 cards from our library. We'll see if that's something that we want to let them do. Let's kind of see how they decide to play out there, at least in their first main phase. And once they do go to the combat step, we'll see. So that's going to be 7 or more lands. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, let's go and go for Vapor Snag, because they did make the land drop for the turn, so we can send back Ulamog back to the hand. Okay, it's going to send Ulamog back. They're not going to be able to swing in and exile anything out of our library. And then, like I counted, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're only sitting at 6 lands, so the Shrine of the Forsaken Gods is not online yet because they do not control 7 or more lands yet. So next turn, that will put them online for the cast trigger, which is going to give us time to go for the Temple of Deceit and then give us the 5 mana for Tameo. Okay, Batterskull. Yeah, that's not too bad. It's going to be 4/4. Yeah, we can survive that. We want to hold on to Disallow at this point right now. All right, let's go and crack Verdant Catacombs. Let's grab Sunken Hollow, have that come into play tapped, and then let's see what we draw into. Draw into Gilded Lotus. Let's go for let's go for Liliana. Target player discards a card. And then we can actually slowly work towards that -8. If we get some sort of creatures going, we'll see what's going on. We are playing against an Eldrazi deck, and we don't actually have a ton of creatures ourselves. But at least at this point right now, if we can kind of turn this into a top deck war, I am A-okay with that. I was going to get down Gilded Lotus. Excuse me, we can't get it down because it's going to be 5 mana. Let's get down Temple of Deceit. That way we can get the scry going. Vampiric Tutor. That is exactly, yeah, I think that's really nice. So we're going to put that on top. And that'll be 4 mana left for us, and we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So, once again, if they do end up casting, make that land drop, that'll put them online for Ulamog. We can go for the Disallow, and then we can follow it up with Tameo. And with that Vampiric Tutor, hopefully we should be able to kind of find something that's going to allow us to protect Tameo and keep Ulamog tapped down. Okay, 1 damage. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they are sitting at exactly 9 mana. Let's see if they make the land drop for the turn. Okay, they do. So that does turn on Shrine for this of the Forsaken Gods. And we do have the Germ token swinging at Liliana Vess. Now, what we can do is we can find some sort of spot removal. We have a ton of spot removal in the deck, so that's probably what we'll use Vampiric Tutor for. The only downside is with Batter Skulls that they can basically kind of keep bouncing it back to the hand, and it will be a problem for us as the game wears on. Okay, so we've got Ulamog coming down. Let's see who they do target with the Ulamog, but either way we're going to be okay because we have the Disallow, counter target activated ability or triggered ability. And this is what makes this card such a good counterspell for Magic. I was going to go for Disallow on the ability. Make sure we clicked on the correct thing because we don't want to just counter the spell. We can get rid of that Exile clause. Alright, so I'm going to put Ulamog on the battlefield. That does put us in a position to where we can get down Tameo and go for the +1 on Ulamog. That's going to tap it down, leave it at a 5/5, and then hopefully we can get down Tezzeret the following turn and then start to go for some of those Thopters. Okay, so we're going to draw into that Vampiric Tutor. Let's go and go for, let's get down Tameo. Yeah, target player is going to discard a card. Get rid of Buried Ruin. It's going to get down Tameo. That's going to be blue, blue, blue. Let's go and plus up on Tameo, tap Ulamog down. And then let's go and go for Bojuka Bog, exiling those cards out of the graveyard. Not a ton of artifacts, but if they are able to kind of get something going out of the graveyard, getting rid of Planar Bridge is always a nice thing to get rid of as our opponent gets that going. So anything else is going to pass the turn to our opponent. So like I mentioned, they do have Germ Token that can swing across at Tameo, but thankfully, once we get down Tezzeret, that's going to give us the Thopters that we need, and we can slowly start working towards kind of building up our Planeswalker board state, and also kind of start working towards going for Etrata triggers. That's one of the downsides to the deck is that if we have a deck like this, we don't really want to exile Ulamog. We simply just want to keep Ulamog tapped down at this point, and we'll have to end up getting some sort of Planeswalker loyalty win on this one, I think, because, and that's what makes Etrata fun, is that she can be good by herself when you're playing against a really heavy creature deck, but there's just other times where she's just not in a really good position to kind of close it out sometimes. All right, so actually, interesting, our opponent did swing in with the Germ Token on Liliana Vess, so that's at least going to leave some loyalty for Tameo, and then next turn we can go for Tezzeret. Oh no, we got Scour from Existence. Oh, bummer. All right, nice to our opponent. But this is what Commander's about, trading those punches. Okay, so that's going to get rid of Tameo. So now we definitely need to do something about Ulamog. Okay. We're looking at the 20 coming across really quick. Man, I was just like, oh, we're going to make it work with Tameo. We're going to be able to tap down Ulamog. But that's a good play by our opponent. Definitely, that was really nice. And let's see, we can't, and that's one of the downsides of Ulamog is to get that exile trigger. They start hitting our lands, and there's just not much that we can do about it. Okay, so we draw into Swamp. It's going to get down Swamp. They're going to be able to exile the top part of our library with Ulamog. I guess what I'm trying to figure out, there's not really, so we're looking at Ulamog saying exile 20 cards. It's going to be pretty quick. If we keep dealing with the Ulamog with some sort of spot removal, that's going to allow them to kind of keep getting rid of a lot of our permanents, which is not going to be a lot of fun for us. Also have the Germ Token going down, so we're kind of in a really weird position. You know, let's go for Tezzeret. Let's get down Tezzeret. At least that might kind of force them to do something else other than swinging at us. So we'll get down Tezzeret. And then we go for the +1 just to try and protect Tezzeret. Either way, they swing in either one. It's not going to be the best for us, but at least if we leave them unchecked, they're going to be able to take care of it to begin with. Yeah, let's go ahead and plus up with Tezzeret, and then we'll go for a Vampiric Tutor during our opponent's turn, just to see if we have any sort of answer to kind of deal with what's on our side of the, or at least on our opponent's side of the battlefield. We'll get down this Thopter. That's the only downside is, if I'm correct with the Etrata, is that those creatures need to be... Does combat damage your player if they own 3 or more creature exiled cards with hit counters on them? So we need those cards to be exiled with the hit counter on them. So if Ulamog goes back to the command zone, that's not going to give us that counter with the way I'm reading the card. So we'll see what we can do about it. Now, we do need to wait for the Ulamog trigger to resolve first, because if we go for Vampiric Tutor, put it on top, and the Ulamog swings in and eats it, that will not be good for us. But, oh, that was such a good play with that Scour from Existence from our opponent. Okay, so we've got Ulamog swinging across for 10. That's going to get rid of 20 cards out of our library, and that will be, I guess either way, technically with Tezzeret, we're going to let that go through, because that way we just want to keep artifacts on the battlefield, so... Well, I guess either way, we're going for the card draw, so we'll just go and block on the Germ token. And let's go for Vampiric Tutor and see what, after Ulamog took a big old bite out of our deck, let's see what we can kind of make out of it. We will wait at least to the end step before we go for it. And opponent's going to go for the Immortal Sun. Can't activate... Ooh, that is pretty much... yeah, let's go ahead and go for Vampiric Tutor. And I feel like we're pretty much on borrowed time at this point right now. So we're going to go for Vampiric Tutor. Let's see what's left in our library. And then since Ulamog is indestructible, you know, maybe we could go for something like Toxic Deluge, but unfortunately, Toxic Deluge was hit on some of that exile stuff. Yeah, it was. And also with Ruinous Path. Yeah, I just don't think there's really anything that, you know, Tamiyo was pretty much our only answer to Ulamog, was keeping it tapped down. And since they had that Scour from Existence, that allowed them to get that. Yeah, but what I'm looking right now, there's not really any sort of way, and especially with the Immortal Sun, we could try to go for some sort of Planeswalker, but that's going to make it to where we can't activate their abilities. And then if we do go for something like some sort of Sacrifice effect, which it did get exiled, we can't even do anything with that. So, yeah, I hate to scoop it up, but I think that's going to be it. So good game to our opponent. We're going to put Swamp on top, but there's not really much that we can do about that. Good game. Once that Immortal Sun hits, I mean, they're going to swing it for 10 and 4. It's going to put us down to 2. But since we can't do anything, we could go for something like Damnable Pact and tap out for that. We could do it on ourselves. But good game to our opponent. That's what makes Magic fun sometimes, is that we have a deck like Etrata that we're not really wanting to exile Ulamog, because that's going to give them a lot of enter the battlefield, or at least cast triggers of exiling our permanents. So we kind of shift into this kind of weird game Plan B game plan, trying to get Tamiyo going, and we kind of set it up perfectly to where we get Tamiyo, but unfortunately our opponent had Scour from Existence, so they were able to take care of Tamiyo and her tapping down ability. If they don't have Scour from Existence, we keep down Tamiyo. It's still going to be a little bit of a long shot. We need to definitely make sure we don't blow up the entire board. That way they get some more recast triggers off of Ulamog, and we need to find some sort of answer for all the creatures that get on the battlefield. But at least it was a really fun match. I highly enjoyed it. A lot of back and forth, and it's always fun to get to play against somebody who enjoys the channel. So if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.